And we're back. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Again, this is Army Guy. I want to talk on a couple of topics. One of the topics is Dalilah's Law. Little girl, I'm sorry for what happened to you. Unfortunately, it's a little too late, but I'm glad that it's something that is being done now. It's unfortunate that things like this happen when they could have been resolved a long time ago. Um, this administration now, I think we're going to see some changes, and it's about time. It's about darn time, and it's unfortunate. But yeah, so let me get into this Dalilah Law. So basically, what it says is this is freight waves. The Dalilah Law, the Senate bill introduced by Senator Jim Banks of Indiana, which is a Republican, following President Trump's call during the State of the Union, would trigger a sharp, immediate contract contraction in trucking capacity if enacted, potentially igniting a trucking super cycle with overnight rate surges amid severely tight supply. Much higher trucking rates could become permanent, giving carriers the best operating condition in decades. So, most of you have seen what happened to little Delilah. That's unfortunate because um, it shouldn't have happened. But by them implementing this law, it's not just going to be an executive order, it'll be a law. There's a difference between executive orders and laws. Most people don't know that. The difference between executive orders and laws, pretty much in a nutshell, is that an executive order can be overturned by the next administration that might come in. Whereas it being a law, because if you guys remember, I'm just a bill, and I'm sitting on Capitol Hill. Once it becomes law, then it's permanent. It's on the books. Let's just put it that way. So moving on. As far as trucking capacity, the more people you get out of here that don't belong here, the more freight freight rates will go up. And I said that a long time ago. See, I was sounding the alarm back in 2025 or right back in January, because I was starting to see a trend of individuals coming into the industry untrained, unqualified, and basically unaliving Americans. And anyone that thinks that's okay, that's a problem. Anyway, we're going to move on. Says by implementing or by limiting commercial driver's license CDLs to U.S. citizens, lawful permanent residents, and holders of only a narrow set of work visas, E2 treaty investors, H2A agriculture workers, and H2B non agricultural workers. The legislation would force states to revoke thousands of existing CDLs held by undocumented individuals and many others with temporary or non qualifying immigration status. It also mandates English only knowledge and skill tests, plus a mandatory recertification process for current holders, all enforced by the threat of withheld federal highway funds for non-compliant states. Okay. So basically what you have, and it's been going on for a while, is you have people that were going back there, and I've seen the tests. The tests, because they give me the wrong test before, it is in every language you can think of. Even for regular driver's tests, it's in every language. Let that sink in. Or if somebody couldn't answer the questions, you'd have a translator come in there and give him the answers, making it too darn easy. Okay. Or they would, talk on their phone. I've had a phone held in my face, I'd say about 4 times, because the person could not speak English. If you can't speak English, how you read the road signs? How you know how fast to go if you can't read English? The signs is in English. A lot of them now are hieroglyphics. You've seen them. Bear, it don't say bear, it just shows a big bear crossing. Deer shows a jumping deer. Right curve, left curve. Even your GPS tell you that. Um, what else have I seen out there? Let's see. Divided highway. One way. No right turn on red. you know. So all of these signs out. That's why I said read. Um, but yeah, these signs are in English. So how you what are you just what's it called? Are you just um faking it to make it, as we say? Um, basically, oh yeah, or have somebody that speak English, tell, oh, it's okay, don't worry about it until you get in an accident and you're on live an American. In this case, you injured a child. So I'm glad that we're finally being heard. I'm the guy that has been on different shows telling you and preaching to you to don't block the highway when you want to protest. Write your congressman. Write the Sean Duffy. Sean Duffy ain't playing. I'm gonna tell you right now. From what I see, Sean is not playing. Um, Phone calls, blow their phones up, let them know that you support it. Even the motoring public, if you're listening, let them know that you support Dalilah's Law because, that shouldn't happen. And because it's an individual that should have never been behind the wheel of a 40-ton vehicle. As I said, look at what 80,000 pounds, 79,000 pounds look like uh, in tonnage. Look it up. It's there. Real simple. Real simple. All you gotta do is put it in there. How much does a truck weigh at 79, 78? Cause we always coming in at 78, 79 because them shippers want to get a lot of freight on them trucks. So you rolling tonnage. You ain't rolling just 80,000 pounds. Yeah, look it up in tonnage. Anyway, I'm glad they implementing this law. I'm glad that it came about because I just seen it. Everybody's been talking about it. I didn't know that happened, man, and I'm so sorry, little girl. You know. Um, well, moving on, man. So anyway, um, they're saying that CDL should be only for American drivers, which I agree because we can't vet these people. Where did you learn to drive a truck? See, Americans are held to a higher standard, and when it comes to American truck drivers, they can trace ours like we can trace our lineage. They can trace our lineage. They can go back in the paperwork and see, well, he started driving at this school, or he learned here, or we have backing, standing, as they say, precedence. But you coming over here fresh, new, and it's nothing. And I want you guys to understand something, because I just woke up this morning. I haven't even had my coffee, but I want you guys to understand something. It's nothing against nationality. It's nothing against race. It's just common sense. You have no clue of what you're doing behind the wheel, and you're going to unalive somebody. And that is a dangerous weapon, I tell you. It's a very dangerous weapon. I've seen it for the last 40 years, 30, 40, 35. I didn't lost track, but I've seen it. I've seen what this machine can do. I've seen people get injured. You know, um, it's a deadly weapon. It really is. I always say it's a freight train on wheels. Okay. All right. So we'll move on. Um, this is not another FMCSA regulation, guidance document, or agency interpretation that could be shortened, delayed, or reversed by a future administration if Congress passes the bill. and the president signs it. The Dalilah Law becomes statutory federal law effective immediately upon enactment. States would have no choice but to comply swiftly to protect their transportation funding. With only the bill's built in 180-day recertification recertification window offering any transition period for existing drivers. The capacity math is straightforward and severe. Foreign born drivers currently comprise roughly 18 to 19% of the U.S. trucking workforce, around 630 to 720,000 out of approximately 3.5 to 3.8 million total drivers, CDL holders per Bureau of Labor Statistics. And industry reports while not all would be directly affected, many hold citizenship or permanent residency. The bill strict eligibility criteria, excluding undocumented individuals, most temporary statuses, and imposing English mandate align closely with scenarios analyzing in detail reports preparing for J.B. Hunt, Noel Perry of Transportation Futures. So basically, what they're telling you is the test should only be given in English. Why not? Why not? Why would you be given a CDL test, the highest license in the United States, to an individual who doesn't speak the language? If you can't take the test in English, common sense, that means you can't read English. That means you can't go down the highway and read the signs that are in English. Make it make sense, man. Make it make sense. I hope this bill passes. It should. That was a little girl. She didn't deserve to go through that. They were just riding along the highway. They wasn't expecting some guy to slam up in them and cause carnage, because that's what these vehicles do. They cause carnage. They're not small like Toyotas that you can turn around on a dime. Um, but yeah, I think the test should be given in English. Why not? You reading everything, every highway sign out there is in English. Um, but that's my take on it. But I wanted to give you guys the key for the day. One of the keys is that you have to, when you go through an inspection and they inspect the trailer, most people don't know that the inspection paperwork can either be in one or two places. It's going to be on the front of the trailer, or it's going to be in that little black tube that you see that sits off on the front of the trailer. That's where the paperwork is to the trailer. You must have that trailer inspected. One of the biggest things that I've seen with trailers, and we're going to focus on trailers right now, the majors that I've seen, when you're doing a pre-trip, you should always look down at that airline. One of the biggest problems with a trailer is the airline, and that's because some people don't hook it up correctly, or the springs wear out and it has a tendency to drop on the ground and drag. You do not want to be in that situation. I was in that situation when I was a rookie and I had first started, but at that time we had CB radios, and I heard a little voice, almost like a savior, come on the CB radio, say, "Driver, you all right over there?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just blew my airline and dragged on the ground." Me being a rookie, didn't know about airlines. He says, "Well, I'll be over there in a minute." I was like, "Where you at?" He said, "Look over to your left." I looked over 4 lanes of freeway. This man crossing 4 lanes of the highway to come over and help me out. He's seen that problem before. And basically what it was, he gave me what we call an emergency setup where I could get somewhere and get it fixed. What it was he stuck a plastic tube in one hose and then stuck another plastic tube in the other one so that the air could circulate to the brake chambers and air chamber in the back of the trailer. Um, but that's my story. So always look at those airlines that are underneath the trailer because they do have a tendency to fall off the spring and drag. Secondly, look for skip tires. Now, I don't know what it is about it, but some guys will drag the trailer and they just don't care. And you'll have your trailer tires with your recaps. They'll have skip marks in them. You have to look for that. Just look around the tire. You don't even have to get down. Just all you gotta do is walk up and look around the tire, look around the whole tire, and you'll see skip marks. Some of those tires, they're okay. You can run with them, but some are so bad you really have to get. I've seen dry rot, on tires. They have to be replaced. And all it is going to a love it. Take a break. Have you some coffee or soda, or grab you some lunch somewhere. Another major thing that happens with, and I'm getting them in order. So the airlines are usually first, but another thing that happens with trailers is those trailer seals that you see in the wheel hubs right there. Those are known for blowing out. The best way to see if a trailer seal is blown out on a tire or on a truck, it'll look like Armor All. If you're not one to use Armor All, you'll see it. Your tires will look like they've been Armor All, and you'll be like, wow, what happened there? Or you'll see a little puddle in the hub. That's usually a sign that you got a leaky seal. If you don't get it fixed, you're going to be replacing bearings. It's cheaper to fix it than to let it ride, because if you let it ride, and I've been down that highway too before, they're going to have to pull splines and bearings. It's some work. And then they got to retorque all them nuts. And you don't want them missing a nut. So it's better just to get that fixed when it's just a busted seal. Another thing you guys need to make sure on these pigtails, some guys will ride with the pigtail because they don't want to replace it because they figure it's too expensive. If DOT catch you, that is a CSA violation. You must make sure that your tail lights work. A lot of times you can't check the brakes, but you can check the hazards and the turn signals and the upper lights, because back in my day, if you was missing one light, that means you was getting a violation. Now, they might lighten up a little bit. I don't know how much, but every light must work on that trailer and truck. Every light. A lot of times, I understand, guys, I see you. One eyeball, one headlight. Yeah, probably because you can't find the bulb nowhere. So, but that's cool. I understand. But anyway, that's it for today. I'll try to keep up with the videos because my truck was being repaired. We'll talk about that another time. But it's been in the shop for a minute, so I should be going back out here either today or Monday. So you may not get any newer videos from me until I actually come back home, because right now I'm at home. And once I come back off the road, then I'll make some more videos, maybe 2 or 3 more. Plus, I'll get to see a lot more again, and we'll be able to talk about it on the Army Guys Show. Y'all have a good one. Take care now. Bye.